A virus spreading, planes grounded, trade stalling, and even sporting events cancelled. Inevitably, markets are tumbling, but the sell-off has turned into the worst week since the global financial crisis more than a decade ago.
A man who's in his 50s is a DC resident, started exhibiting symptoms in late February.
Leaders with Christ Church Georgetown confirmed today that their rector, Tim Cole, has DC's first confirmed presumptive positive case of novel coronavirus.
It feels really like things are getting more close to home. I did not expect this.
We have learned the Virginia Beach couple who got sick after a cruise to Egypt says they have tested positive.
Governor Hogan confirming the first 3 positive cases of the coronavirus in our state.
Last night, the Maryland Department of Health State Laboratory confirmed that a Prince George's County resident in her 50s is tested positive for the novel coronavirus, COVID-19.
In New York, about 4,000 people, more than half in the New York City area alone, now under quarantine.
This is like a flu on steroids.
All right, Stephanie Ramos joins us now live. And Stephanie, we heard about the recent deaths and outbreaks inside of nursing homes in Washington state. And tonight, here in New York, the governor taking drastic action to protect people in nursing homes.
That's exactly right, Tom. New York State now has restricted access to nursing homes. Governor Cuomo adding outside visitors will not be allowed inside nursing homes in the New Rochelle area. That's where the lawyer who's been being treated here lives. The governor also says people should work from home if they can.
We also have some breaking news on efforts to contain the coronavirus in a city hit hard. New Rochelle, New York, just north of New York City. Joining me now is NBC News correspondent Ron Allen. Ron, what can you tell us? I understand Governor Cuomo just made some news.
He did, Chris. He's calling in the National Guard to help set up what's called a containment area around a hotspot, a cluster. New Rochelle has over 100 confirmed cases. It's a suburb just on the edge of New York City, about 73,000 people or so. And it's been linked to what the governor has described as the most difficult outbreak to contain.
New York City area, the number of cases doubling again in the last 24 hours, and the steps being taken in the city right now. Meantime, in Boston at this hour, the scene unfolding there. Several people at a hotel taken to the hospital for immediate screenings.
Tonight, authorities shutting down a street in Boston, transporting dozens of people from the Marriott Hotel directly to the hospital to be tested for the new coronavirus. Late tonight, the city of Austin, Texas, canceling the wildly popular South by Southwest Festival, a $355 million blow to the local economy. More than 400,000 people attend the event each year.
All righty now. So, at this moment, from what I'm seeing, Coachella has been postponed. Am I looking at anything
That's
different?
What I'm reading.
I haven't seen the actual confirmation from Coachella just yet, but they are getting a little bit closer. It's giving out those dates of October 9th and then the following weekend, October 16th. But I think they're saying that
at this moment, I saw it on TMZ. You know what I'm saying?
Nationwide, many schools and universities canceling classes or holding lessons online. New York City schools preparing plans for remote learning capabilities. The University of Washington also teaching classes online after a faculty member tested positive. And pharmaceutical companies are bracing for shortages too. 80% of drugs consumed in the U.S. come from China and India, so more delays threaten supplies of critical medication.
The fast-moving developments in the coronavirus outbreak. A short time ago, 2 more deaths announced, and the State Department issuing an extraordinary travel warning. This as the virus continues its march across the country. Take a look. The first confirmed case in Washington state, January 20th. Tonight, there are confirmed cases in at least 33 states and Washington, D.C. 2 more states added just today. More than 500 people sickened now, including this patient arriving at a hospital in Nebraska. The death toll rising to at least 21. The 2 newest deaths were residents at that nursing care center in Washington state. And tonight, that cruise ship forced to circle off the coast of California is now set to dock in Oakland tomorrow as the U.S. State Department warns Americans against boarding cruise ships.
Well, passengers have begun disembarking from the virus-hit Grand Princess in Oakland, California. After 21 people tested positive for the virus, they are being taken to a containment area for testing. 23 people who required medical care were transported to hospital. American passengers will be taken to military bases for testing and 2-week quarantines. Several hundred foreign passengers will be repatriated home with chartered flights. One couple are suing the cruise liner for $1 million for continuing to sail despite knowing about infections on a previous voyage.
The CDC has been slow in allowing states and other commercial laboratories to test.
A Republican governor also expressing his concern.
Has the president been perfect in his communication? I would say he hasn't communicated the way I would.
The number of coronavirus cases in the United States is skyrocketing, but some people close to the president worry he's not taking it seriously enough. In dozens of tweets today, Trump dismissed concerns about the spread and blamed the news media for the plunging stock market. Some advisors fear he's underplaying the potential danger with comments like this, comparing it to the common flu, which experts say is predictable and well known, while the coronavirus is not. But as Trump downplays the impact of the outbreak, his top health official insists they're taking it seriously. Trump also spoke at the conference, though organizers say he didn't come in contact with the coronavirus patient. The attendee did shake hands with the event's organizer, Matt Schlapp, who was later photographed shaking hands with the president.
Of course, Jake, there are now several Republican lawmakers who are going to self-quarantine because they came in contact with this coronavirus patient. Two of those we know have had extensive contact with the president, one being Doug Collins, who was seen shaking the president's hand when he landed in Georgia on Friday to go visit the CDC, then accompanied him on that CDC tour, therefore spending more time with him. And of course, Matt Gaetz of Florida just flew back with the president on Air Force One and then announced minutes later he is also going to self-quarantine. So there are two members of Congress who interacted with this patient who has coronavirus that also interacted with the president.
Outside China, Italy is the country with the most reported infections and deaths from the coronavirus. So, in a desperate bid to stop the disease from spreading, the entire country is now in a lockdown. It's the most severe restriction on movement in Italy since World War II.
The announcement triggered a rash of panic buying here in Rome as shoppers in masks swarmed supermarkets in fear of a countrywide lockdown. In a national address, Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte spelled it out in the starkest terms. We have run out of time, he said. We're having a growth in infection and deaths. The whole of Italy will become a protected zone. In essence, a quarantine of the entire country of 60 million people until next month. Here's what life under lockdown means. Travel across Italy severely restricted. All public gatherings of any kind strictly forbidden. Employees should work from home or prove to police why they're not. Restaurants and shops will shut their doors after dusk. The extension of the shutdown of schools and universities across the country. Violators risk up to 3 months in jail or fines of $225.
Top league football games are continuing, but in empty stadiums. Queues quickly formed at supermarkets. Authorities have told residents not to panic buy, insisting supply lines will be kept open. Panic took hold in several prisons. Inmates rioted over new quarantine restrictions. At least one died in the chaos. The number of infected persons continues to rise. Health authorities insist the caution is necessary.
There are no parts of Italy that are completely immune to the virus. There are parts of Italy in which the virus currently circulates less. But the fact that the virus circulates depends on our behavior.